What's up, guys? Henry Gracie here at the Gracie Jiu-jitsu Academy in Torrance, California. And I'd like to talk to you guys about this recent incident that took place at a middle school in Indiana, where a young boy named Austin McDaniel was in the boys' locker room and a group of other kids came in. And one of these kids, a little older than Austin, grabs him in a rear choke and slams him on the ground and then starts punching him and continues punching him until Austin is rendered unconscious. Now, while this is happening, there are other kids in the locker room who see what's happening and do absolutely nothing to step in and help him. If you haven't seen the surveillance camera footage, here it is. To make matters worse, 11 days after the incident, the same bullies found and beat up Austin's best friend Logan. Now, as upset as this makes me, this is not the worst of it, right? The youth suicides that are becoming all too common, or the school shootings, both of which are most often traced back to incessant and unchecked bullying. That's what makes me sick. To see kids dying from bullying when I know I have the answer is like seeing people die from cancer when I know I have the cure. Austin and his friend Logan are going to be okay. We're reaching out to them and we're making arrangements for both of them to come to California to spend time with us so my brothers and I can bully-proof them the Gracie way. They're going to be fine. But the problem is we can't reach all of them alone. And that's where you come into play. Whether you're a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, a teacher, a principal, a school counselor, there's something you can do. And it begins with the awareness of the proven solutions that are out there. And that's what I want to discuss with you today. There are only 3 solutions to bullying. You bully-proof the victim, you bully-proof the bully, or you bully-proof the bystanders. And with America's youth, that means bully-proofing the schools. Let's talk about bully-proofing the victim. Now, it's common knowledge that in order for bullying to take place, there must be a power imbalance. The bully must have a power advantage, actual or perceived, over the victim. So in the simplest way possible, if we can simply balance the power, the personal power, between the victim and the bully, the harassment can no longer take place. If you have kids and your son or daughter comes home and says, "Mom, Dad, this kid is pushing me, or this girl is making fun of me, or this kid is spreading rumors about me, what should I do?" The first thing the parent is going to say is, stand up for yourself. The parent understands that if you simply assert yourself verbally and show that confidence and that personal strength, the bully will almost instantly and almost always back down and stop harassing that victim, that target, simply because the perceived power imbalance and the power advantage no longer exists. And you don't have to fight to prove that. You just have to take a stand and stand strong. And that's why bullies are so careful about selecting targets who have no confidence and don't stand up for themselves. The problem is expecting a child to verbally assert themselves to a bully without giving that child the physical self-defense tools to stay safe during an attack is like asking a child to learn how to surf without first teaching them how to swim. It doesn't make sense. Why would a child go to a bully and assert themselves even verbally if there's a possibility that the retaliation of that bully could cause physical, emotional, relational, or any type of lasting harm to the victim? It doesn't make sense. The victim won't do that. An intelligent person would not do that. So at the Gracie Academy, for 85 years, the way we've been bully-proofing children is we give them the non-violent physical self-defense tools that give the child the certainty that should an attack take place, they're going to be safe, they're going to be okay, they're not going to get hurt. And once they have that physical confidence that everything's going to be okay, it's so much easier to exercise the verbal confidence in a situation. That's our approach. Teach kids tools of self-defense, physical tools, so they never have to use them. And any trained martial artist will tell you this. The more I learn how to fight, the less likely I am to ever get into a fight. And the reason is they carry themselves differently. And the bullies pick up on that and they stop targeting them. It's that simple. So here at the Gracie Academy, the result of our efforts is not seen in the number of bullies that are getting beat up by our students. The result of our efforts is seen in the diminished amount or non-existent incidences of bullying. The fact that parents who came to us in the beginning saying, my kid gets bullied every day, now says, hey, they're doing great at school, their grades have gone up and they're having no problems. That's evidence that what we're doing physically and the skills we're giving them verbally are translating into everyday life. Now, some parents sometimes come to us and say, well, if I teach them, jiu-jitsu or a martial art, aren't I creating a bully? Am I going to give them the tools to become a bully? It's a major concern for many parents. I can't speak for any other disciplines, but for jiu-jitsu, I know that that couldn't be further from the truth. By nature, the techniques are all defensive. We never teach your child to aggress. It's only to neutralize the physical aggression and attack of a bully. So if a bully throws a punch, we teach your child how to minimize the damage, close the distance, stay out of range of the dangerous strikes, and hold the bully until help arrives or until they can negotiate with the bully and say, hey, calm down, I don't want any problems, leave me alone. So jiu-jitsu by nature is the gentle art.
We talked about the rules of engagement. Haley, come on up here, and you stand right here. Face the camera. All right, there are how many rules of engagement?
5.
5? Okay. Rule number 1.
Avoid the fight at all costs.
Rule number 2.
If physically attacked, defend yourself.
Rule number 3.
If verbally attacked, follow the 3 T steps. Talk, tell, tackle.
Rule number 4.
Never punch or kick the bully. Establish control and negotiate.
Rule number 5.
When applying summations, use minimal force and negotiate.
Can you stand?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now take down Allie McKay.
Other arts that rely more on striking-based strategies, I can't speak the same of, because you teach a child to punch and kick in response to, verbal or physical aggression, they might become so aggressive that they could hurt the other child. In a sense, they'd be fighting fire with fire. Whereas here at the Gracie Academy, it's very much a philosophy of fighting fire with water. So that's how you bully-proof the victim. You give them unshakable confidence, physically, verbally, emotionally, and you send them off. And they're going to be okay. Now, realizing that only so many people can come here to the Gracie Academy, we've created the Gracie Bullyproof distant learning programs, where on DVD or online through GracieBullyproof.com, someone can literally go to that website and learn all the techniques to teach their child from home. And we have certified training centers all over the world who offer this curriculum. Even though we're creating instructors, opening schools, and offering this stuff digitally through every possible medium, we can't expect every parent to log on or to put in the time or to make it happen to where they're actually investing in their child's personal confidence bank account, so to speak. And because of that, we can't rely on bully-proofing the victims as the sole solution to bully-proofing America. Which brings us to solution number 2, bully-proof the bullies. Here at the Gracie Academy, it's our firm belief that bullies are created, not born. Somewhere along the way, the bully learned that if he or she wants to advance their social standing or their social status, they have to use their power advantage to abuse other people. Now, where is this learned? Most often in the household. You have a parent who, when the kid doesn't do good at math, right, the parent shoots him down very aggressively. The child, who obviously acknowledges that their parent holds a higher standing than they do, goes to school thinking, if I want to climb the ladder, I got to shoot somebody else down. And it becomes this endless cycle. Now, if it's not from the parents, it could be from their peers at school. It could be a sibling in the household. And very often from the media as a whole. So there's all these societal forces teaching kids how to abuse power. So if you want to bully-proof a bully, there's only one way. You have to re-educate them about the proper use of power. And here at the Gracie Academy, we do that every day. About half of the kids who come to the academy, parents bring them in because they have aggressive tendencies and discipline issues. And if left unchecked, these are the beginnings of what will eventually become those bullies that we see or read about in the news. So here at the Gracie Academy, what happens? A kid comes in who may have learned from other influences that, to build yourself, you have to shoot someone else down. But then they get to this Gracie Academy and they meet me and my brothers. And the first thing that goes through their mind is, wow, look at these sharks, these black belts, these Gracie brothers, right? The way I like to say it is my brothers and I are the greatest would-be bullies that never happened. So these kids come in and they meet us, and it's very clear in this setting where we all have our uniforms and our black belts and the kids are here learning with us that we have a power advantage. It's very clear that we have that over not only our students, but over most of mankind with the skills that we have. The kids see this, and then the kids see how we treat and utilize and manage this power advantage in such a respectful, humble way. And what are we doing? We're re-educating. We're teaching them, hey, if you're powerful, you need to step in and lend a helping hand for a kid who's in need. When you're training with your partner, if they do the move wrong, you need to coach them and assist them in doing the move right. Right? Don't make fun of them. Assist them. So these lessons of respect, of discipline, of courtesy, coming from people who have incredible power advantages, what we're doing is we're becoming the new role models with regards to the proper use of power. And that's something that's incredibly lacking in today's society, is role models that teach and advocate the proper use of power. And once again, it's just something that, we're doing it in the ways that we can, but we can't reach every child. So to solve bullying from the bully side, all we need is more role models teaching the bullies the proper use of power. Unless we could go into every household and teach every parent how to be the proper role model for their child with regards to power use, which is totally unrealistic, what we need in the media are more public role models that can provide that same influence, right, that the child most likely, if they're a bully, isn't getting in the household. So that's how you bully-proof a bully. You teach them, right? If they learned the wrong behavior regarding power use, they can learn the right behavior. We've done it for thousands of children at hundreds of certified training centers around the world. But even that is a small dent in the problem that we face. Solution number 3, bully-proof the schools. Anytime an incident of bullying takes place, there's a bully, or 2 or 3 or 4, and there's a victim, or 2 or 3 or 4. And then there are the bystanders who are watching this take place. And these bystanders are the key to solving this bullying epidemic in America. Because if they do nothing, they provide the bully with the audience that he or she so eagerly desires. But if these bystanders unite and agree that if any bullying takes place, they will step in and they will put an end to it, there will be no more bullying. The only way to solve bullying on a school campus is to make intervention the social norm. And this is something that all anti-bullying experts agree on. And it's something that every anti-bullying school-based program advocates. The challenge is that no program has figured out how to do this, how to make intervention the social norm. And the reason is so simple. As long as the risk of intervention outweighs the reward of intervention, there will be no intervention. In other words, if you ask any child, if you see bullying take place, what should you do? Every one of them will say, I should help. I should step in, I should stop it, or I should tell the teacher. It's logical. But the risks are not logical. The risks are very real. And you say, well, why don't you? And I've asked many kids, myself this, why don't you step in when you know you should? And they say, well, I don't want the bully to turn on me. Very intelligent. So instead of doing something and getting beat up or getting made fun of or getting ridiculed or being the next target, do nothing and let it happen. And that's the scenario you have in every school. I don't care, private school, public school, in a bad neighborhood, in an affluent neighborhood, it makes no difference. Every single school has this issue. Kids eagerly pursuing power advantages, abusing others, and bystanders watching it take place without doing anything, out of fear of being the next one on the list. We figured it out. Maybe there's more than one way to make intervention the social norm. But we have the Gracie way. It begins with us going into the school and talking to all the kids. Of course, we have to connect. We have to connect. And we have to make it very clear and get all the kids on board that there should be no more bullying. And when I get in front of audiences at any school I've been to, and I say, who thinks that there should exist no bullying on campus? Zero. Cease to exist. If you could press a button, it would all be gone. Raise your hand. All the hands go up. They know it shouldn't happen. They know it's not right. And if they could choose, they would like there to be no bullying for anyone. And they say, okay, my friends, we can do this. If all of you agree to keep it real. Keep it real. R-E-A-L. Keep it! Keep it! Who knows what it means? That's the ultimate question. Yelling it sounds cool and it's fun, but you gotta know what it means to keep it real at Towers Elementary. Let's see if Sarah can keep it real. What does R stand for?
Respect everyone.
Respect everyone. Even the bullies we respect. E.
Educate the bullies.
The bullies, they need to learn the better way. A.
Assist.
Assist who?
Assist the victim.
The victims, if they're having trouble, assist them. And L?
Lead the way.
Lead the way. Did she win? Yeah. She kept it real. Thank you very much. Round of applause for her. She wins. Keep it real. R-E-A-L. R. Respect everyone, regardless of their differences. Self-explanatory. E. Educate the bullies. And what this means is when you see an incident take place, even if it's your friend who's doing the wrong, you have to let them know what they're doing is wrong. Because again, bullies believe that the way to climb the ladder is to abuse others. Someone educated them incorrectly. And if kids agree that when they see this behavior, they can re-educate and let them know that it's wrong, that's another step in the right direction. Bullies aren't bad people. We give them this name bullies because they do the wrong behaviors. The bullying behavior is the problem. But they're good people. They just learned the wrong behavior at some point in their life. So here's the real question. This is the important one. Can a bully learn the right behavior? Yes. Of course. Now who's going to teach them? It's the only way. A. Assist the victims. This is critical. Every child in the school has to accept that if someone's getting bullied, you step in and you lend a helping hand. They have to. The same way, and I ask them, I say, guys, if there's a house on fire on your block, do you help put out the fire? Yes or no? They say, yes. I say, why? It's not your problem. It's someone else's house down the block. They eventually conclude that you put out the fire because there's a chance that that fire besides the fact that it's the right thing to do, there's a chance that that fire eventually reaches you. So if bullying takes place on campus, it's like a fire, like a forest fire that begins small and eventually takes over the whole school. And you put out the forest fire when it's small, not because it's you, but because it could one day be you on the receiving end. And it's so much easier to put an end to bullying when you're on the outside than when you're in the trenches and you're the one getting targeted. It's fascinating. The same incident, you being on the outside, stepping in and saying, hey, back off, leave him alone, or you being the victim who doesn't have the physical resources to take a stand and to put an end to it, it's a totally different thing. When you're in there, it's so much harder.
Sometimes a forest fire becomes so strong, so large, so powerful, that one person can't put out that fire. So you know what they do? They call more firefighters and more. So it takes multiple people to put out one fire. So my question to you is this. If a child who is getting bullied stands up for him or herself, but it doesn't work, they can't neutralize the bully by themselves, who is going to help that child defend against the bully? That's what I want to know. You already know it. You guys are going to solve the problem.
So to be on the outside and agree to step in is critical. Assist the victims because it's the right thing to do. But more importantly, because you believe bullying should not exist on campus as a whole. And by assisting, you're intervening, you're saying stop, you're telling a teacher, you're helping the victim, even if you've never met that kid before. It doesn't matter. You have to lend a helping hand. And L, lead the way. These kids have to be willing to take that first step. When there's a circle and someone's getting their face punched in the locker room, if you say, I'm going to wait till he steps in before I do something, and everyone thinks that way, no one's ever going to step in.
There is no neutral. You are either helping the victim or you're helping the bully. If you're not doing anything, you are helping the bully because you're giving the bully the audience. Here he is making fun of, hitting, beating up some kid. And if you're watching, the bully loves that because she thinks that it's cool what they're doing, but it's not.
The kids have to agree that if an incident takes place, they're going to lead the way and they're going to step in and they're going to help. Keep it real. Respect everyone. Educate the bullies. Assist all victims and lead the way. Once every child understands the importance of this message and of this oath, right, the bullyproof oath, only then does the school even have a remote chance of solving the problem as a whole. The challenge is you still have the problem. Intervention is obviously the message here. The problem is they're still not encouraged to intervene because the risk of intervention still exists and it's greater than the reward of intervention. So the next step is to create a task force at the school. We go in, we find a sponsor within the school, someone the kids look up to, someone the kids admire, a science teacher, a PE teacher, a math teacher. It could be any school administrator, or it could be a parent from the outside who offers his or her time to this cause. And we create this task force. And the Bullyproof task force meets every month. And it's an opt-in group. And we create this group the day after this initial assembly, gathering, and meeting. We create this group. All the kids can volunteer, whoever wants to be part of this task force. And all that means is they're saying, yes, I agree, as they already said, that bullying should not exist on campus. And when a child joins this task force, he or she is given a white wristband, a simple little white Gracie wristband on which it says, keep it real, as a reminder. And the way it works is everyone who's on this task force has this wristband. Bullying takes place. The wristband on campus is a clear identifying factor and an indication that that child agrees that bullying should not exist. So when bullying takes place on campus, they step in and they help. But the advantage is when there's 4 other wristbands in the locker room nearby, it changes everything. Number one, the bully knows that those 5 kids have taken the oath and agree that bullying should not exist on campus. Number 2, the person who does lead the way and take that first step knows that those for the wristbands are also on the team and have agreed that bullying should not take place. All it is this badge, this identifying variable that lets everyone know the choice and the belief that these people have about whether or not this should be taking place. And here's the best part. Every time a bullying incident takes place and a task force member intervenes, they fill out an intervention report, a simple little paper that's held in each classroom of the school and in the office, and they fill out the intervention report with the details. Who was the aggressor, who was the victim, when did it take place, what happened, and what you did to help. Now, intervention could be breaking up a physical fight, like our incident in Indiana, or it could be someone's getting torn apart on Facebook with this cyberbullying, and the child goes in and says something constructive, or says something to help the kid who's getting abused or harassed by the other kids online. It doesn't matter. Any attempt to intervene and to solve the problem is better than no attempt. And here's the deal. That intervention report gets submitted to the office. And each month, when the task force meets as a group, the sponsor, the director of the team, has the reports to review and discuss with the whole group. And of course, they have a chance to praise, acknowledge, and recognize the efforts of the person who intervened for each particular incident. And they begin with their white band. And for each intervention, they earn a stripe on their band. And upon earning 4 stripes, 4 interventions, they're issued the blue band. And 4 more interventions put them at the purple band. 4 more interventions, 4 more stripes at the brown band. And then, of course, the coveted black band. Now, this has been working for 85 years in Jiu-jitsu. We have belts to indicate progress and advancement within a social group here that we have. And the reward and the incentive tied to these belts is incredibly profound and incentivizing for the students. So what we've done is we've translated that into the school social setting, and it's working remarkably well for us. Now, are there other ways you could recognize and praise someone's efforts in the intervention category? Of course there are. This way is working for us. So now what you have is a situation where the kids are coming together, they meet monthly, and they have their intervention reports and incidences to discuss, and other kids praise, and they learn from these incidences. The details teach them what to watch out for next time, who to help, how to intervene in the safest, most effective way. So what you're creating is a social infrastructure that provides such incredible reward and recognition for the right behavior, for the intervention, that it outweighs the risk of intervention. And this is the only way this is going to work. There is no other option. If the incentive for intervention is not greater than the risk of intervention, they won't do it. And that's where we are now, my friends. Once the Gracie Bullyproof school transformation system is implemented at a school, it's only a matter of time before the bullies join the task force, where they can get the respect, the praise, the recognition, and the reward. All the things they wanted when they bullied to begin with. The only difference now is they're going to get those things for doing the right thing, for intervention. We've applied this program successfully here in Southern California for several schools, and obviously we can't do it ourselves. So it's just a matter now of this idea of creating these social infrastructures that incentivize and recognize the right behavior and therefore make intervention the social norm on campuses across America. This is the only way.
Hello, I'm Kevin. I'm the principal of Towers Elementary School, and it's a pleasure to have the Bullyproof assembly for our students. They're a very respectful organization, very structured, professionals, and what they have to offer is exactly what we needed. They offer a great nonviolent approach to teach our students how to diffuse situations when they're being bullied. The skits that they brought together today here was very simple, but yet really real life examples of what usually happens at schools. The best part was when Henner pulled up students from our school to provide suggestions on how to handle bullies. We had 3 students up there, and all of them generated ideas on their own and were excellent ideas on how to handle situations if they see or are being bullied. We hope that the students, not just the bullies and the victims, but the rest of the students can utilize the REAL approach and help assist victims and educate bullies throughout the school year and in their lives as they grow up. Excellent program. We do highly recommend it to other schools if they're interested in bully-proofing their school.
So there you have it, my friends. We need to bully-proof the victims, bully-proof the bullies, and bully-proof the schools. But we can't do it alone. Go to GracieBullyproof.com to find out how you can help. And thanks for listening.
Keep it! Keep it! Keep it!